Cream, the way I know it, is practicing agriculture in a different, or in many varieties, many ways, such that you are able to live after utilizing one thing and then takes you to the other and benefit from the other, just moving around in a garden, at home. That is why in our home here, there is no waste product.
So cream otomangaje pekana teso au metengo cream nese bukula kuru.
Bwe mpulira cream ekitongole kya PELUM ne Hunger Project batusomesa ku nkola ya cream. Ti mu nkola eno mwe tusimbira ebintu mu bungi naye nga buli kimu tekikosa kinne waakyo. Mu mbeera eno nga tusobola okulima obulimiro bw'enva, osobola okulima emmwanyi nga mulimu emiti, mulimu ebitooke, kuliko emmere y'ettaka, naye nga byonna buli kimu kiyamba kinne waakyo. Mu kino emiti giyamba okuwa emmwanyi n'ebitooke ebisiikirize n'okubeera awannyogovu. Kati ate ng'ebitooke tebikosa mmwanyi ng'ate n'emmwanyi tezikosa bitooke.
I'm Stella Lutalo, and I'm the country coordinator of PELUM Uganda, and we've been in existence for the past 24 years, and we work to improve the livelihoods of smallholder farmers and the sustainability of farming communities by fostering ecological land use management.
Yeah, right now we are faced with a major challenge as Ugandans and the world over because climate change has become more and more evident. We are seeing more effects of climate change than ever before. Some of you have experienced, you can take an example of the rains we've been experiencing of late.
I must say that agriculture is the backbone of our economy, and it's a sector that is severely affected by climate change and its impact. So, without coming up with deliberate interventions to address this challenge, the sector will encounter lots of agricultural losses. We shall have low production and productivity. We'll have food security would be compromised. Markets will be compromised.
The weather is changing because we know climate is over a long period of time. But what we're dealing with right now is climate variability. These seasonal changes that come into play that affect our small-scale farmers. But also in the long run, climate change is, something which has really affected them for a long period.
We felt that bringing together or putting together a framework that member organizations can use to support smallholder farmers to be more resilient to climate change, that would be a big contribution to the sector.
In Uganda, we are a network. As a network, we have a membership of over 56 non-government organizations, and all these organizations are working directly with the smallholder farmers, with the exception of a few international organizations who support the local organizations to do the work with the smallholder farmers.
When we started developing the CRAIM model in 2014, it took shape. And in 2015, we were able to pilot it with 3 member organizations in 3 districts. So we had International Institute for Rural Reconstruction, Ecological Christian Organization. We also had another organization called War on Want, Northern Ireland.
CRAIM is that holistic approach that integrates all the best practices the smallholder farmers have been using since time immemorial. One, to mitigate against climate change, but above all, to enhance their adaptive capacity.
CRAIM, actually, it has a lot of activities. The way I started it from PELUM, actually we learned it and we came to implement it. So it has a lot of activities like on environment, using our indigenous crops and herbicides. Then on the side of girls, It helps to meet gender.
Emesiko ekije kuyayijire yatandika kutwegesaho ekigambo kurimu n'ekintu ekitwabaga tutaretegereza itwe nk'abana abantu b'ekyaro hanuya konka kuruga turatandikana kukora nayo batwegesa kigambo cyo kurimu twatandika gukora ebijimusa ebyite ebyobuhangwa ebitari by'ekijungu byo kugira ngo bundi omuntu wabikozesa okaza kurya nk'ekihingwa warabuganamu ekizibu.
Through TED, PELUM was able to come to us to train us on girls, to train us on agroecological practices, and then cream.
We look at so many practices, you know. That's why we call it integrated, because it's not a one size fit all, or we are looking at a particular, say for example, double dark beds, you know. But we look at aspects of seed security. That is one notion that we take into consideration. We look at aspects of integrated pest and disease management. That is very, very vital.
CREAM teaches us how to use our natural pesticide or organic, and more so using the red or the pilipili, red pepper. So we always use it in two ways. We can either use a ready, fresh one, or we use a dry one. We pound it together, mix with this red pepper, put it together with the wood ash, and then we go and spread it in our garden when we are mulching it. So it helps to prevent termites from coming to destroy this mulch from there. And also other pests that come across, because it will be hot for them to cross. And the tobacco, most crops don't like it. So that is one of the benefits of CREAM to our lives so much, so dearly. That is one of our best practices.
Ati poroti yanje obuhango bwayo ine omumisho ni futi nkaga kuzenyuma ni 10. Nyine hamaka ganje ndakoreraho ebyo buhinji na n'obusibiki. Ibintu byanje bindakora abataka barabyegomba. Hariho nko muntu cyo yamano mwari hwaho akegomba enkore yindakoramu najena namwerekerera nko kundakora nawe yasetinga hebiju era nawe hatiya asibire kurunji empunu naho no musibiki murunji. Hariho nabandi barirano abanje bayishire bano kureba ibintu bindakora nabo bagira ngo mbayambeho mbayeho buhunu nabo bagire ki batandikireho era ahero komperekireyo empuni 2 naze ziri kuyamba abataka batahi banje. Ekintesha ndahura ndacenyumiriza mu munonga abwo kuba umuntu wabora kore kintu ukahurira nabandi harubajura ari babara kitamamani niwe kirakirengera kugira ki kuhereza mamani nahabwe eco ngumiza mu kugira ngo abantu abe kitongore cya MS kwa bantandika nisize na program ejinjiji.
My farmers now, they have onions, they use organic manure, which they use it to say they can't work. They are using our local pesticides.
By having CREAM incorporated in their farming system of years back, it has proved that a small piece of land is very productive if it is well managed.
The process that was being used previously was so much not empowering to the people, the smallholder farmers. It was more of a top-down approach where development practitioners were sitting somewhere designing interventions, and then the farmers who are regarded as the vulnerable recipients are supposed to just adopt that which has been promoted by the project.
We had practices like the climate change adaptation, we had community managed disaster, we had climate smart agriculture. But now CREAM is community led. It integrates both the community and other stakeholders.
CREAM kigwayo nti climate resilient agroecology system oba model. So kati nkitegeera nti waliwo enkyukakyuka y'obudde mu mbeera eyo omusana gutuwokya nnyo. So kati omusana bwe guba gutuwokya, resilience kitegeeza amaanyi g'obeera nago okusobola okwaŋŋanga obuzibu n'embeera yonna ebeera ekusoomooza naddala mu by'obulimi.
With the cream, a farmer can produce at any time throughout the year.
Cream also focuses on how best we can retain the rainwater. Aware of the fact that in most of the communities, when it rains, there is a lot of surface runoff, but in cream, we ensure that the rain that rains here should not even move an inch. It should at least seep down where exactly it has dropped. So with the cream, we look at the element of water harvesting, looking at technologies of like digging contours, looking at technologies like digging deep trenches, using maybe some other technologies like having like a container to harvest like the roof water.
Very many smallholder farmers are coming up with simple technologies, adopting simple water harvesting technology, because across Uganda, in many areas where we've engaged communities through a cream process, the most hazard that is selected, identified by smallholder farmers, is drought. So when they come to solutions, clearly they all appreciate that we need to make our production not dependent on rain, but dependent on water.
The cream model has principles which we work along the principles. For example, some of the principles of climate resilient agroecosystem model, there is managing the diversity and redundancy. The diversity in the agroecology project, we try as much as possible to bring different organisms. For instance, tree planting, managing vegetables, livestock production, beekeeping, everything, because in the diversity, every component or every organism play its part towards resiliency of the environment.
Why are we diversifying traditional foods? We are looking at the tolerance to drought, tolerance to pests, disease, and then the adaptability to the environment. The farmers themselves are able to discover that the traditional varieties are more adaptable and they are high yielding and pest tolerant, drought tolerant.
When you have enterprises on the farm, for example, livestock and plants, naturally you're going to create a very good relationship where each of them depends on the other. You have animals like cows and goats which feed on the fodder and the different plants within the system, the farming system. Then they give you manure and the urine, which you use in turn to make compost. And then the compost, you take it to the garden, which also increases the yield, and then at the same time also rebuilds the soil, and also enables us, the farmers, to keep more carbon in the soil.
When we were starting to practice agriculture here, the soils were very bad. They were containing a lot of sand and nothing could grow here. So when we started, as you can see, this sand here, when we started improving it, or we started using liquid manures, we started using compost manure, we introduced animals here, and after being trained by members from PELUM, and we also became members of PELUM because of the good practices and the methodology of cream they were training us. So now when you look around, you can just see every place where you see there is a variety. There are different crops. Each and every crop you can look at is doing well, and it has done as an example to the community around that all the soils can be used to practice agriculture as long as you understand the methodology of cream.
For our farmers, whenever they could harvest groundnuts or beans, they could burn the residues. And after burning the residues, they could use it as a local salt in their kitchen. They didn't know that this one can be recycled in the garden to add more humus in the soil so that the soil can be more productive.
Enini bene ti diara chiel makifunywa e loka cream me gwako jemi ma dong kichogo ki poro ki kwanyo nyige ki ko mudong chiki gworo chi ikele gworo ge we otobe en ka otobe eni kwanyo icher karate cham ikwanyo igni mano ti otopo dong ikarate cham ka ikarate cham kitene dong mere mo ngom en te muchungwa karata na nasi weko chemi dano tiki kerda eni der mabe ne una weka gorgi ukanyi pen tigitie akwanya ter poro.
Some of the best practices which we've seen, one was, for example, the establishment of natural resource committees in the areas where CRIM is being implemented successfully. And these natural resource committees are also supported by what we call the CRIM teams or the agroecology teams.
Their work is to see that the resources are utilized effectively. But before we gave them their roles and responsibility, we had to do what we call the resource mapping, where we moved with them village to village. We identified the different resources that are found within those villages.
Chalo lonyoma rumwa ka chalo yat gini no wato konyo wa metedo kuon kidong machalo kidi no konyo wa me agoya ichoron gini onyo chakare agoya ge chakare meno gin matia konyo wa kidong chalo pi watwamo mamara meno lonyo ma wano tie kan piere kene ma watika tich kwede kidong yen ma tika konyo wa twal pien watigi yen mapol no yamo pe tika balo jom ma me wala bole chalo watigi poro la bolo chokan no yamo pe de la bolo meno konyo ma mo no gi kom jom morumwa
chamo konyo ma gi dilum ka chalo gina chama pe chama ni no gina chama pe ini chira dilum kuya kelo gideli chama no konyo ini gina chama gin mi dilum chalo yelo gi o chaya gi wakelo wa chama no cha no konyo in cha mi ke no ke ti ga nego in muni gin ma konyo wa chamo ti dilum chala okengo en konyo ki mi is ki tuo en malaria ka wi bare ai chi kwanya ya cha ni nyama chi no cha no komio dogo yot cha le ala no be tie chala ning ya le no no ni
When we look at how our farmers get their seeds, initially they used to best getting their seed from seed dealers, but at the moment, this time, our farmers get their seeds within the locality. We have trained them on how to manage their own seeds instead of going to buy seeds.
There is a connection between having the right seed and CRIM. In this project, we are using a number of models. On seed, we have a model called CMSS, Community Managed Seed System. So we have that component in a way that these farmers gather and look for the seeds that they want and multiply them within their own community for them to be able to access them very well. And in this project, we have a seed bank whereby we are storing a number of seeds and varieties of seeds. We have plantlets, we have seeds for, let me say for example, different varieties of bean seeds, different varieties of cassava, different varieties of banana.
Enimulo, elemonilo, eyaute sokadido, emorki kinakeda, PELUM, katrokea, kwapetimu, udumuniyo, eraele toile joko, mame deke dekana kwe jari lo, ejeberele kurutu seki, etapa sae, era jagweli kie kopaene, konye lo, echichingi jagwele kia, era ya isikakini,
anope aisikakin teterengeze buto telai konye mamuti beta aisikida dobobo enimu lo toilo agwalari kwanenga ngini dopete isirigine lukumit dodo kingole kiyo oeto alu iluku milioni ni di lu edum no so toma.
In this is trying to help these farmers have constant access to seed that they use over time within the season. I've seen this work because they appreciate the local seed are normally resistant to climate change, resistant to pests. The issues of availability, they have it. Some of them are also now doing it as local seed business because those are quality seed. They are able to produce and sell to other members within the community.
Yeah, it's a testimony from the farmers. Before CREAM came in, our farmers used to do what we call broadcasting. And in broadcasting, you spend so many seeds in a small piece of land. They didn't know what is called line planting.
Malupe ke program pa dabolara ifonye makloni CREAM an aberu ngara chel mano fonye machalo an la fu no fut pa ngeyo dero ma umira tikere ka cher por umira chop kore choya uno furi ka furo tauni por na miro bed maleng wa lum wa chumi karno no jami pa chere level ma kuberiti kera chalo chekere CREAM ina mu components endala mulimu iche bayita girls gender action learning systems. So mu girls twayiga nti tosobola kukola kintu nga temuli bumunaba amakaago. So omukyala tukolera wamu naye nti kituyamba okuba nti tebaga nti mwedde ebemwanyi za taata wammwe oba obulimiro bwa taata wammwe tebunaba bulabirira. So kituyambye okulaba nti tutambulira wamu.
Pakaware kodi sende ne mani edoge YouTube ni atende nyu sende pakawa wuok ma ebe shido kare ma ere pare podi okodi mu kende ne pare ma shiko konyo ne la bolu eni ma la bolu eni pare mu kalwore e konyo ma pare yore mi shamu eni kende kaware doge nyuta ni akawa wuoki sende moko shito school moko enambo kodegi.
This methodology uses pictorials and is also an empowerment process where farmers use simple diagrams to be able to do their own analysis, do their own planning and visioning. So we use these tools, one, in the planning, in the analysis itself, using the challenge action trees to analyze these challenges, coming up with possible solutions, using vision road journeys for communities to imagine a resilient community. We use a vision road journey. You must imagine something.
As we are in the church, we all agree that Rome was not built in a day. So to experience this CREAM methodology 100%, we still need time. We still need to engage ourselves in more trainings and getting pilot farmers whereby we can train the animals and they see the benefit, like having kitchen garden crops grown in your home, which maybe they will learn, because for us Africans, we learn by seeing and doing.
Around 25 of the member organizations are now piloting CREAM, and roughly around 48,000 smallholder farmers, are practicing, CREAM.
Me personally, I am an environmentalist, so I'll be on top in championing the CREAM model everywhere I go.
The future of CREAM, we believe that it's not a static model. We keep improving and strengthening it. So the future of CREAM includes strengthening it further. We are adding more tools, and we are also taking it to our other members. Yes, 25, but PELUM has a membership of 56 currently, and they are all affected by climate change. The farmers they reach are all affected, and so we plan to further upscale to other members, but also strengthen the model itself.